Welcome to our Thursday afternoon live broadcast. We are broadcasting live on YouTube and on our Facebook page simultaneously. Today we are going to be discussing the new diet trends, time-restricted feeding. I'm going to point out a couple of the key points to that new diet trend, and then we are going to open up a discussion about it. So if you are jumping on live, please take a second to leave a comment in the comment section so that I know that you're here. If you're new to joining us in this community, please let me know. I always like to make sure I welcome you. And if you've been in one of our past courses before, always make sure that you let me know what month you are in so that I can acknowledge that as well. And then take a second to hit that subscribe and like button so that you will be notified when we go live in the future. If you're new, I always like to just take a second to let you know a little bit about me. My name is Diane, and for the past 25 years, I have been helping women find the new diet trends through, fitness programs and nutritional plans that will help them look and feel their best and live their most authentic life. And throughout this entire broadcast today, I want you to think about what your most authentic life is, because we're going to make that part of our discussion when we start breaking down this time-restricted feeding diet trend. So as a certified nutrition coach, anytime I hear about these diet trends or new things that are kind of coming out, I always look at them very objectively. I try to look at them from, the scientific standpoint about where this trend is coming from. And then I look at it from my own personal perspective as a wife and a mom and an aging woman now especially. And then reevaluate what it is that this new trend encompasses and will it fit for me. So there's kind of two things you should be looking at. Is it really valid, and can it work for you authentically? So I'm going to break down really quickly what this new diet trend is. And I'm going to use this a lot, and I'll explain to you why in just a little bit. So the new diet trend is you're shifting your focus from when you eat, not what you eat. So I thought I would appropriately wear our short shirt that we have created in our community, and I'll go like this on YouTube so you can see it. And it says on it, it's not a diet, it's a timing thing. So we're just shifting when we eat. The nutrition coach part of me and the aging woman part of me looked at the second part of what they said this new diet trend was and why it makes it so successful, and that is that not what you eat. We should know now that that's not true, right? And I think why these new diet trends become so trendy, and because everyone gets, so freaked out by them, is marketing purposes, right? Like the marketing and the propaganda that goes behind some of these things. So I had so many messages and emails yesterday from people like, oh my gosh, did you see this? This is amazing. You can eat whatever you want. No, you can't eat whatever you want. You just can't, because we know that there's certain foods that our body reacts and responds to in a different way. And so, yeah, you can shift the time in which you start to consume calories in your day, or the time in which you want to introduce food into your day. That stuff's all flexible. But don't for a second believe that this way, the time-restricted feeding, is suddenly going to allow you the opportunity to eat whatever you want. That is just never going to be the case. If you want to be healthy, energized, energetic, make sure that you're taking care of your brain health, and have a physique and a lifestyle that you want to have, you can't do that for the long term, because those food choices will eventually come back and bite you. So the shifting when you eat, I think, is totally scientifically proven now. We know that that works, but don't get caught up in the marketing hype of now, because of this way of eating, because you're restricting your feeding to certain times, that you can eat whatever you want. That's just never going to be the case. The other thing that sent, kind of red flags to me as a nutrition coach and a wife, mother, and woman was that the woman that they depicted in this story chose to eat or have her feeding time between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. That's intermittent fasting. That means she took a period of her day and she decided to feed or feast during that day, and the rest of her 24-hour period, she decided to fast. I always suggest for women, and if you're in my course, I don't know if you clued into this part of it or cued this for yourself, but when we're trying to determine what your fasting protocol is going to be, or better yet, you're trying to determine your fasting protocol, I never suggest what hours within your 24-hour period you should feast or fast. You guys pick that time, which is the way it should be, right? So whether you eat at 8 in the morning or you eat at 4 in the afternoon or you eat at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, doesn't matter. As long as you ask yourself these two questions every day. How long will I fast? And how well will I feast? You determine your fasting and your feasting windows. So this is just intermittent fasting. You're taking a period or a window of time in your 24-hour day and you're choosing to feast, and then you're taking a period or window of time in your 24-hour day to fast, intermittent fasting. Or you could reverse the focus and call it time-restricted feeding. Same outcome, just a different way to look at it. So she's picking a window that is authentic to her lifestyle, which happens to be 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. For me, I went, oh, I can't do that. I've done that before with eating every 2 hours on a calorie restrictive diet, where let's say for me, it was determined that because of my lifestyle and my activity level and what I was doing with my calories and my goals, you know, I've been on a 1,400 calorie restrictive diet most of my adult life. Well, what happens with that is, or a timed released meal plan, which a lot of people in, I know my community are following now with a new fitness release, is that you're on a certain calorie level that you're based for a day. And you're supposed to eat before you work out, you eat after you work out, and then you eat in increments throughout your day. Well, as a mom, when I was following that type of lifestyle, what would generally happen was that by the time my family sat down to eat dinner, I ran out of calories. So I couldn't eat dinner with my family, because if I was on a 1,400 calorie diet and I was eating before I worked out, after I worked out, and every 2 hours after that, by the time 6 o'clock came around, I had already reached my 1,400 calorie maximum for the day, and I couldn't have dinner with my family. And that's a really sad thing, because families where we gather, or dinner times where we gather as a family and have conversations and talk about our day, and that's our social time. And so an 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. feeding window wouldn't work for me. That was a big red flag for me, because for most of the people that I know and most of the women that I work with, the latter part of the day is a better feasting time for us, because we're social, or we have family or kids or grandkids, or I don't know, when's the last time you were invited to an adult birthday party at 10 a.m.? Like, maybe if you're going to a birthday party for a 5-year-old, you're going to meet at Chuck E. Cheese or something, but adults generally don't socialize around food in the beginning part of their day. They generally socialize around food during the latter part of their day. So that feasting window would already set me up personally as failing, or I would follow it thinking, oh my gosh, I want to lose weight like this lady did, and follow someone else's plan that's not authentically mine. And then I would do it for a certain period of time, and then I would give up because it didn't work. I would either have to pass on too many social events or miss dinner with my family. And after a while, that wears on you emotionally. And so you throw in the towel and you chalk it up as another diet that you failed at. When it wasn't you that failed, it just wasn't your plan. It was someone else's plan that wasn't allowing you to authentically live your life. So the way that this particular plan was depicted in the news was something that raised a red flag for me, because it's not authentic for most people. For this lady, it happened to be, so that was a great deal for her. Okay, so they did research, I think it was the University of Alabama. They showed that people are more effectively burning fat while they're sleeping. Because the window was 8 to 2, and so therefore they had this big period of time that they had where they weren't eating. And so then when they were sleeping, this is when the study was done that showed that they burned more fat while they were sleeping. Well, it's not that they burned more fat because they were sleeping. They just burned more fat because of the time that had elapsed between when they stopped feasting and when they happened to be sleeping. So yeah, of course, the study showed that, but it was a one-sided study. So if if you were to look at other studies done around intermittent fasting, we talked Tuesday about the fasting mimicking diet, plenty of research to back that up, where you fast 5 days out of a 30-day period and you have certain caloric restrictions. I mean, there's tons of amazing data that backs up the fasting mimicking diet. There's plenty of research out there with the metabolic approach to cancer that shows all of the amazing health benefits of following that plan and what it could do for you. Tons of research on it. And there's, just intermittent fasting in general, or there's bone broth fasting. I mean, there's a million different ways to slice and dice this type of lifestyle. And there's always going to be some research to back it up that's valid. Of course there is. That's what they use to promote it. So make sure that you're understanding the data and the research that's backing this up. There's also research that shows that drinking red wine makes you heart healthy. But so does exercise, and so does living a sensible life, and so does having a stress-free life. Red wine is not the answer to your heart being healthy. There's just a study that happened to be done that focused on that. So don't get duped by even the research. Make sure you're looking a little beyond that and then taking the big picture into account, and not just that tiny little bit of research that they're backing this kind of thing up with. So yes, the research is there. Fat is burned while you're sleeping if you have X amount of time between the time you stop feasting and the time you start fasting. We call that the energized sense of calm in this community. We experience the energized sense of calm in our waking hours when we are efficiently burning fat. We're also utilizing that fat burning opportunity to fuel us throughout our day so that we have plenty of energy to get through our workday, or get through our workouts, or manage our kids, or manage our stress, or whatever it is that we have going on in our life. It's just a different time of the day that you're going to be in peak fat burning mode. You can do it while you sleep, or you can do it while you're awake. It all depends on when you decide you're going to fast and when you decide you're going to feast. Both have studies that back up how efficient being in a fasting type of lifestyle will provide for you. So again, go beyond the research on that one. They also showed that this lady, and I'm sure that there were others as well, fasted for 8 hours, or feasted for 8 hours. So they were following a 16-8 protocol. This is known in a lot of arenas. I believe it's the leans gain. We don't call it that in my community. We've renamed all of these protocols to suit the aging woman's life. So she just picked a protocol, which meant that she feasted for 8 and she fasted for 16. Again, that fit her lifestyle, so that worked for her. There's plenty of intermittent fasting protocols that are out there. Basically, all you need to do is decide how long you're going to fast, and then decide how well you're going to feast. Whatever those time windows are that break up in your day where you as the individual see and feel the most benefits will be the fasting protocol that's going to work for you. 16-8 just happened to work for this woman based on the story that they were doing. So it's all flexible there as well. I already talked about the burning fat while you sleep. They showed, that this reduces blood pressure, that it also helps with insulin control. Again, all of that stuff is done in any kind of environment where you are being conscious about what it is that you're doing in your feasting window, and that you're making good nutritional choices for yourself and implementing some exercise. So again, same results that you would get with any other diet. This is not the magic cure. The other thing that they talked about was in your fasting window, only having non-caloric beverages. Again, this should all be very familiar to most of you here. Water, black coffee, some even argue that black coffee, because technically black coffee has calories. The reason black coffee is used in the fasting window is because the polyphenols, it acts as an appetite suppressant and can give you a boost of energy. So technically, if you wanted to do a true, absolutely by the book clean fast, you should probably just be doing water. What they're finding is that coffee doesn't really negate the arena of fasting that you're in, so you can include it if you're comfortable with doing that. The other big thing that a lot of people got into a little bit of excitement about was you shouldn't eat after 8 o'clock at night. Okay. You shouldn't eat after 8 o'clock at night if you're fasting from 8 to 4 in the morning for math purposes. Remember, You have a 24-hour window in your day. You pick two windows, a fasting window and a feasting window. We know, again, this is scientifically proven, and it's in the metabolic approach to cancer fighting ways, using food and all that, is that if you fast for a minimum, clean fast for a minimum of 12 hours every day, you significantly reduce your risk of breast cancer as a woman. Okay, so let's do the math on that. If you're feasting from 8 to 2, like she was, and then you're gonna fast for the rest of the time, of course you should not eat after 8 p.m. because you're gonna eat again at 8 a.m. So you're creating, in the minimum, a 12-hour fast. It's not that it's the 8 o'clock part of it, it's that you want the time advantage of being in a fasted state. So by no means should you eat after 8 o'clock if you're gonna start feasting at 8 in the morning, because you wanna have that minimum 12-hour fasting time. Anything beyond 12 hours is just icing on the cake. It's just gonna get you into that deeper fasting benefit. So again, don't worry about that 8 o'clock time frame. What matters is how long are you gonna keep your body in a truly fasted state, and then how well will you feast when you feast. It doesn't matter, time restricted feeding, intermittent fasting, whatever other things that are out there these days, and the protocol doesn't even matter. What matters most of all in any of these things that are coming out in the mainstream media today are going to be based on you. Are you doing the things that are going to make you look and feel your best and live your most authentic life? The most authentic life part of it is going to be the determining factor on whether you're going to be successful or whether you're going to fail. Because if you're not living your life authentically, and you're changing the hours in which you're going to consume your food based on some report that came out on the news, and you're now missing dinner with your family, or you can't go out with your girlfriends on a Friday night, or whatever it is that your lifestyle is, then it's going to be another thing that you failed at. But it's not because there's something wrong with you. It's because, or even anything that's wrong with the diet, it's because you're choosing something that doesn't fit into your life authentically. And that's because, again, there's going to be so many people who jump on this new feeding frenzy thing of restricting their time because, oh my gosh, I want to do what that lady did. But you're not living that lady's life. The lady had amazing results with what she did, but that revolved around her life, not my life, not your life. So when you hear these things, don't get that fight or flight kind of reaction in your body. That's going to put your body into a hormonal upset. It's going to make you feel panicky. It's going to make you question what you're doing. And if what you're doing is working for you, then it's working for you. You do not need to jump ship. And if what you're doing isn't working for you, and it's a repeated season of things not working for you, then you have to consider whether you are still following something blindly, or are you finally at a point where you truly understand how your individual and amazing body is working as a woman today? Or are you checked out from listening to the signs and signals that your body is sending you and hoping that if you do something new, it's going to be the magic thing that finally clicks for you because you don't have to think about anything? And if you do that latter part and you're not taking the time to think about what it is your body is trying to tell you, what the foods are that are causing you to have these bad reactions, how it is that you feel after you put something in your body, and you're taking a bunch of things to cover up those signs and symptoms that your body is trying to send you, you're going to constantly be failing at what it is you're trying to achieve. You have to start thinking for yourself. You have to stop getting into these panic modes when these new diets come out, because it's not the diets that are failing. Sadly, we're failing. We're failing ourselves because we're not thinking, we're not emotionally connected to ourselves, we don't understand how our own body works, and no diet in the world is going to do that for you. You have to stop. You have to slow down. You have to breathe through it, and you have to start understanding how today's woman's body is working, and you're the only one that can do that. So don't worry about this new refeeding or restricted feeding diet thing that has come out. It's no different than anything else. It's just a fancy new name and a fancy new way of describing what it is we should already be doing. And that's doing the things that will make us look and feel our best while we are living our most authentic life. So I hope that takes some of the panic out of things. And you know what? Maybe you are the woman who needs to eat from 8 to 2. Maybe that is you. Maybe you don't have a nighttime life. I don't know. When our kids leave off to college and it's just me and my husband at home, we might eat from 8 to 2. I don't know. We enjoy breakfast. But right now, for us, we need dinner time with our family. We need to sit down with our kids and have an eye-to-eye conversation with them around some food. And so while they're at school, it just makes sense for us to fast during that time. And so those are the kind of things that you need to consider when you're looking at these kind of things and how it is that you're going to apply them to your own life. So let me go on and welcome everyone who's here. Is the light okay?
You want to go YouTube first and she may go on Facebook?
Yeah, I'll go on to YouTube first and welcome everyone there. So hang tight for a second, my Facebook girlfriends, and I'll hit you guys up in just a second. Michael, can you move that light just a little? It does look a little bit bright on YouTube. Elon, I think is your name. Hi there. I've been enjoying your videos, so thanks for coming back. Love having you here. Kelly from Denver, good to have you. Zoe Blue, haven't seen you for a while. Good to see you. Kelly, August class and alumni group. January class from Nevada. Deborah, good to have you here. CJ Sherbert from Nevada, love the program even more the second time around. Awesome, I'm so glad. Not that low, Michael, because then I can't see. Thanks. Jenna, hi from Midland, Texas, on the way to New Mexico, June class and alumni. Thank you so much. Let's see. Doan, I think it is, from Florida. Welcome, Kitty Cat. Battling incurable pain disease, RSD, CRPS. Get dizzy after 12 and 14 hours fasting. Do optimum health benefits only come after 20 hours of fasting? Recommendations? No, not necessarily. Every woman is super individual about how it is that they're fasting. That's what I really like to teach, is that you got to figure that out for yourself. Some women can't go 20 hours. Oftentimes, though, what happens is, as you know, we say time and consistency pretty much cures everything. So the more time you invest in what you're doing, the more consistency you have with your body being in a truly fasted state, that's when your body becomes more trusting and comfortable with it, and you can push it just a little bit farther. So that's what I would suggest with you, but you have to work your way up to it, and every woman's body is different there. So great question, though. Thanks for asking. Let's see. I got to go all the way back to the top. The YouTube comments don't stay frozen where I leave off, so then I have to go back up when I put my finger off of it. Pippa from UK, agree, latter part of the day, better for a feast window. Yeah, so that works for you. That's awesome. Carla from Iowa, January class, also beware of the current advertising of a noted celebrities diet program. Been there, lived it, didn't work. I'm staying with Diane. Oh, Carla, thanks for saying that. You know, here's the thing. This is not my program, and I really hate even to say the word diet. You know, there's a lot of, you know, diet, undiet, this is the diet plan you should follow, because it's not a diet like type of thing. And that's why I was really careful about how I really worded what we're doing here, because the word diet sells because it catches people's attention. And I'm actually just finished reading a book that's called, it's something keto diet. And the author of the book actually said he called it a diet in his title of his book because he knew that would sell books, but it has nothing to do with a diet. He can't stand diets. So be careful of the marketing out there. The word diet is marketable, right? And so they want you to buy into the diet because that's what we're conditioned to do, is diet. But we don't want a diet. So it's those things that, you know, they get you in, and then be careful. Because even some diets that, you know, are called the undiets, or they're not diet, or whatever it is you call it, could end up being a diet if you're constricted to a certain way of doing things and you're not allowed to figure your own body out and your own lifestyle out. So always be careful. That's why I say I look at things with two ways, right? I try to be really objective about it and say, okay, I want to look at it from a nutritional coaching standpoint, does it make sense? And then I want to look at it from a woman standpoint and a wife and a mother and a girlfriend standpoint. Is this going to fit in my life, or am I going to be only doing this for a confined period of time, be very restricted, give up a bunch of my life just to end it and then go back to normal? Well, that's what causes this cycle that we talked about, I think it was last week, of the fat, fit, fat. What do you do the day after a diet? When your support isn't there anymore, when you don't have a plan anymore, because you haven't thought for yourself. For this whole time you're on a diet, you haven't been able to think for yourself. What do you do the day after? And oftentimes, because this is the way we are just conditioned as creatures, is that we go back to our old habits if we haven't learned to develop new ones. So be very wary of a lot of those things. Let's see, where did I leave off? Okay, there we go. Sophia, I lost 4 pounds in a week doing 16-8 Weight Watchers, using those points for healthy fats and foods. They don't have wheat and refined sugars. I'm going to fit in at least one 24-hour fast. Yeah, if that works for you, I think that's awesome. Serendipity, hello from Houston, girlfriend, good to have you here. Accessory Dazzle, hello from Ruth in Houston. Hello, Ruth. Love your encouragement and all your information. Oh, thanks so much. Journey Drifter, hello. On 12-hour fast has the same benefit, so a 12-hour fast has the same benefits as a 16 or 24-hour fast. No, it doesn't. They don't have the same benefits as far as what you're doing in your fasting window. The longer the fast, generally the better the benefit. And that's just all the science behind what happens to your body when it's in a fasted state. Kamar, welcome. Esther, hello. I'm a fly on the wall in Amsterdam. Thank you so much. Esther, we appreciate you being here. Thanks so much. Happy to be Taylor. Hello from Georgia. Davis, excuse me. Is adding coconut creamer unsweetened okay? Just had such a hard time with black coffee. Brand new viewer, by the way. Davis, adding coconut creamer is okay as long as you do not need to be in a truly fasted state during your fasting window. If you want to reap the benefits of a truly fasted state, then no, coconut creamer is not okay. But you have to make that choice for yourself. Debbie, I had an unusual symptom this AM while dressing. I had a hot flash. I have had postmenopausal for a long time. It could just be your hormones just kind of adjusting, Debbie. So the best thing to do is always just say make note of it and then see kind of what happens over the next couple of days. Holly from Boston, good to have you here. Doan, can my fasting feasting hours change on the weekends? Absolutely, for sure. Wendy, does long time calorie restriction make it more difficult to begin losing weight on IF? Not necessarily, because I am the queen of long time calorie restriction for sure. Not at all. Your body will just adjust when you're going through the first phase of incorporating intermittent fasting and learning how to clean fast and what to do in your feast and all that kind of stuff. So no, not necessarily. Usually what takes the longest time to adjust to intermittent fasting is how out of balance your hormones are. So we want to balance out our hormones. And once our hormones are balanced out, that's when we really start reaping the benefits of fasting and feasting. Wendy, hopefully you're going to consider joining one of our courses. We have one starting in February. February 3rd is our next course. Let's see, Lynn, April, good afternoon from Albuquerque. Good to have you here. Holly, what is your feeling on taking a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar with your fast? I mean, I know that there's benefits of apple cider vinegar. My philosophy, and we talk about this here, this is kind of our theme for 2018, is do nothing. Just do nothing. Doing nothing is the best thing that you can do for your digestive system. It's the best thing that you can do for your microbiome once you kind of start getting into that time and consistency of fasting, and only really need to do those kind of things if you sense there's a problem. But if, it kind of goes back to that whole thing, don't, fix something that's not broken. So if your body's feeling great and your digestive system seems fine and you're on the path of healing, why would you put apple cider vinegar into your stomach? I don't know. That's my philosophy anyways. Teresa, my daughter and I have been seeing a naturopath. The bills are getting higher and higher. I know I am in adrenal fatigue. Digestion is a mess. Coastal is high help. Okay. Holly, I find it helps with appetite. That's because you haven't balanced out your hunger hormones. If you balance out your hunger hormones, then appetite's usually not that big of a deal. And, you know, we used coffee a lot during the initial stages when we started fasting and feasting. And there's days now that go by where we don't drink coffee and we don't even really notice that we haven't had any. So your hunger hormones will eventually balance out. And then hunger is not a problem. And what we like to talk about in this community is hungry is where the magic happens. So I teach you guys how to really be comfortable and confident in the state of hungry and not be in a state of panic. You're welcome, Pippa. Wendy, thanks for addressing my question. I took your holiday course. Awesome. Okay, cool. Let's see, and we'll go back to Facebook here in just a second. Okay, cool. Let's see what we got over here on Facebook. Hey, ladies, and I'm sorry I wasn't on last night. Man, this flu thing hit our house again pretty hard yesterday. So we ended up just kind of chilling out last night. So I appreciate you guys understanding when I have to do that. Carol from January course, good to have you here. Trudy, I'm here from May 2017 and January 2018. Sharon, welcome from Sacramento. Lori, I absolutely love your channel and Facebook page. Thank you for all your lessons. Lori, you're super welcome. I appreciate you being here. Leslie, hello. Danola, hello. Joanne Underwood, I am seeing it live. Nice. Jersey. Lynn Ann, January class, just breaking my fast for the day. Awesome. I love when you guys can join me and you're breaking your fast. That's great. Jenny from January, my oldest, Donnie, turns 25 today. Well, congratulations and happy birthday to you, Miss Jenny. Jill, live during the day. Hello from Missouri, Massachusetts. What's MA? Missouri, right? No, Missouri's MI. What's MA? Massachusetts, right? Massachusetts. August, January, and alumni. Dan from Pennsylvania, from the June group, alumni, passion planner, and January course. Michelle from sunny California, doing great on my fasting now that I got it down. Awesome. Still working on my feasting and stop when full. Yeah, that's a thing. The consistency part will come in with the feasting part, and here's my advice I give everyone all the time is feasting will never be perfect because we're not perfect people. Life is not perfect. You know, socializing is not perfect. So what we're going to really hone on in on the third week of our course is the social and emotional aspects of feasting and fasting and why it is we connect so, you know, deeply to the feasting part of it. And, you know, it's so much easier now that you guys are experienced going 20 plus hours fasting. Like, and when you before you join the course, it's always like, I can't imagine fasting for 16 hours. Now you're fasting for 20, 23 hours easily, but the feasting part is still holding a lot of us up. So we're going to work a lot on that on our third week. So we'll get the feasting parts straightened out too. Susan, thank you so much for jumping on from thawing out Houston. I know we're the same way here in Trophy Club. Ugh. I had my water faucet was frozen all day yesterday. Couldn't get water out of it. It's just, ugh, I'm ready for the spring. Ashley from Colorado, welcome. Catherine from the January class, good to have you on. Made cheesecake for Donnie's birthday. I'm choosing to eat a small piece after dinner. Jenny, good for you. Cheesecake's one of my favorites, or it used to be. Now the bloating afterwards I can't tolerate, but enjoy your cheesecake. Stacy, good to have you here. Trudy, I'm doing a clean fast for a couple weeks and hunger is a lot less. Your program's the best. Awesome. Thanks for saying that, Trudy, and I'm glad that your fasting's going well. Lisa, hello from sunny California. Okay, don't be bragging, my California people, on how warm it is there. We're freezing here. What is it? Well, it's 46 now. It's actually like a warm spring day. Teresa, I guess my question is, what do you think about taking turns on supplements to heal these problems, or do you feel fasting will help? And if so, how? Okay, let me see what the first part of your question was. Let's see. What do you think about taking turns on supplements to heal these problems? Okay, so yes, I think supplementation is great. And we do a whole lesson on supplementation as far as, I call it supplementation desperation. Because a lot of times, just like this whole new diet thing that has everybody up in a, in an uproar, oftentimes we see someone talking about the results that they got with their supplementation, and then we go into supplementation desperation, right? Or we're like, oh my gosh, they took it and this XYZ thing happens to them. I'm going to go buy it and hope that it happens for me. And we oftentimes buy things that people are selling before we really understand the why behind we might need it. And so many people take apple cider vinegar, and so many people drink lemon water, and so many people do all these things that they don't understand the why behind it, or if they even need it. So, you know, a lot of people ask me about taking supplementation, and I don't publicly talk about what supplementation we do in our house because it causes a frenzy, and I don't want to be responsible for someone being in a supplementation desperation mode. So if anyone ever wants to talk supplements with me, you have to email me, and we have a private conversation about what it is that I recommend or what we do in our house. But I do this because I was supplementation desperation also. I mean, I've had cupboards full of things that I bought because I thought, oh my gosh, this will be the thing that'll make my, you know, legs fit better in my jeans, or will, you know, make my this feel better, or, you know, and we generally buy them based on where we're feeling the weakest. I'm hoping that it will fix it. And so my strong belief is that you should not introduce supplements at all until you figured your own body out. Oftentimes, we don't realize what it's like for our body to just operate in its own natural state. You wake up, you see how you're going to function throughout your day before you have a cup of coffee. My husband and I, we start our day, we have our bottle of water, and then we go, do you feel like having coffee today? And there's some days we say no, like we don't need it, or we don't even want it. It's not anything that, it's just we've become so robotic about it that we drink coffee without even thinking about it. Oftentimes with supplements, that's how we become, right? Like you're like, oh, I need to take this before I work out. I need to take this after I work out. I need to take this in the middle of the day. I need to take this before I can go to bed. I need to take this so my food will digest. I need to take this for that. I need to take these hormone replacements so that I don't feel a hot sweat or a hot night sweat or a hot flash or whatever. But how does your body react just on its own energy system? Do we even know? And now with the way that the time and consistency that I've put in with my own fasting and what I've learned how to do in my own feasting window, is that my body works pretty well on its own, and I don't have to spend a whole lot of money on things to make it work better. And I don't need something to be a high to get me going in my day, and I don't need something to bring me down and be a low at the end of my day. I sleep well, I wake up well, all of those things. So I say, you owe it to yourself to get through a period of time of adjustment to see, can your body operate on its own? Then you get a baseline of where you are. If you're worried about maybe some mineral deficiencies, go get some blood work done, see where your baselines are. I for sure thought I was iron and vitamin D deficient. I don't know why I thought that, but I went and got my blood work done, and I'm totally fine. I don't need an iron supplement. I don't need a vitamin D supplement. Everything that I'm doing through my feasting and my fasting is making me okay in those areas. What I have been doing is adding in some brain supplementation, because I know how my brain has been deteriorating. I know that my memory has gotten bad. I know that, you know, I am not feeling, my brain just doesn't feel strong. And so I added in some supplementation that's been helping my brain. Now my brain feels strong. I feel like my memory's coming back. I don't feel, you know, I'm not losing as many things. I can get a thought out clearly. And so that supplementation happens to be working for me. But so supplementation has its time and its place in your life, but I always encourage you to have a baseline of where you and your body is in the raw. How do you feel when you don't put any stimulants or depressants in your body? When you're just running off your own body's energy and you're running off the fuel that you're feeding it in your feasting window. And if you get that baseline and you feel like there's some holes, then that's when I feel like supplementation is appropriate. But don't just take something because so-and-so said to take something. That's where I think we get in trouble and we spend too much money that we don't need. Let's see. Kitty Cat, just watched your autophagy talk. After how many hours do we go into autophagy? I'm trying to improve my chronic pain. Thanks. Okay, so autophagy is that subject that is up in the air because we're not walking around connected to science lab equipment. So no one really knows when their body is in a true state of autophagy. So I'm going to speak of my own personal experience and the experience of the women that I have had go through my community and my course. We have named the 20-hour fast and the 4-hour feast the sweet spot for a reason. That seems to be the protocol of fasting and feasting for women that with time and consistency reaps the most health benefits. So reversal of some situations that we've had going on in our body, the best hormonal balance, the best fat loss, the best weight loss, the best inflammation decrease in their bodies. So my only way to rationalize that is that when you're feasting on the appropriate type of foods, you're living a keto-like lifestyle, you're fasting long and clean under an area of time and consistency, that your body would naturally have to go into a state of like base autophagy because we're seeing and feeling the healing benefits of it. So I reversed a lot of the documented health conditions that I had through fasting 20 hours and feasting for 4. So to me, that was a great time for some base level autophagy going on in my body. Now, for therapeutic reasons, or if you're trying to medically fix something that you can't handle on your own, then that's when extended fasting windows come into play, and you want to do things that are beyond like the 36-hour time frame. Those are only recommended to be doing under the care of medical supervision. So like with cancer research that they're doing with autophagy and extended fasting, reducing some of the effects of chemotherapy and radiation treatments for people who are battling cancer. Extended fasting and being in an extended state of autophagy has really helped with those kind of things. So it's that thing that who knows? They're doing studies and say that there's a certain period of time, I think it's beyond 36 hours or 36 hours or what. It depends on what report you read. In my personal experience, 20 hours of fasting with a good, solid 4-hour nutritionally dense feast with time and consistency has healed my body. Therefore, I believe my body was in some form or level of autophagy during that time. So I know that's a long answer, but I have to give a long answer because if I don't, I will get comments here that I just don't want to have to deal with. So it's a personal thing as well too. I wasn't fighting anything life-threatening. I was just correcting some of the things that were going on with my body because of being on diets for so long and restrictive type of caloric lifestyles. But I'm healed now, so it worked. Let's see what we got else over here. Okay, yes, that's what's happening. I've become a slave to these supplements. Yeah, Teresa, do a good, honest check of your cupboard, and just go for a while without them, and then see how you feel. I think you might be impressed. Yvonne, supplementation is harmful unless you actually need it. Yeah, that's what I feel like too. Or you're just wasting your money. Aquariusness. Hi, Diane. Just wondering if I have helps boost fertility. I can't say that other than this. We've had 2 women go through our course, one who didn't want to get pregnant and was like kind of at the stage of life where she was perimenopausal, and another woman had trouble getting pregnant, and both of them ended up becoming pregnant. One was a shock and one was a surprise. Myself, I went through some infertility stages of my life trying to have our daughter. We didn't necessarily intermittent fast during that time, but we really changed up our nutrition, focused on our fitness, took certain foods out of our diet, and we did that 2 times. And both times after about a 3-month period, I was able to conceive when it had taken us a year prior to that with no known signs of why we should be having trouble infertility-wise. So nutrition plays a big part in fertility because remember, that's all everything that you're doing or everything you're putting in your body causes a chemical reaction and could cause your body's chemistry to be off, which means your hormones are imbalanced. So I would say if you are having infertility problems, I would do a lot of research on that. And intermittent fasting with a nutrient dense feasting lifestyle would definitely not hurt you. And then there's certain foods you can put in your feasting window that are supposed to boost fertility as well. So you want to balance out your hormones if you're having fertility problems, for sure. And intermittent fasting has shown to do that. Let's see, where did I leave off? And then I'm going to go back over to you, Facebook, just a second. Life, how do we maintain our current weight while doing IF? Do we lengthen the feeding window or maintain the 4-hour feeding window with larger amount of food? Currently doing 24, but my weight is reducing. So yeah, then that's when you don't have to fast as long, or you can be more flexible in your fasting and your feasting window. So maybe only do like a 20-hour fast, so many days a week, maybe do a 16-hour fast other days of the week, maybe add more fat into your diet. Those kind of things can help, kind of just put your weight at a set point. Janet, 12 pounds gone in a month, aerobics every day for 25 minutes, lots more energy. Good for you, Janet. So you're experiencing the energized sense of calm during your waking hours, which is nice. Melina, what brain supplements are you taking? I need help. Melina from Luxembourg, mini course and alumni. You'd have to email me, Melina, at dianeparhamfitness@gmail.com. Teresa, that was a good answer. Okay, good. Lisa, from the UK, I have a work colleague who says the soy is good for ladies going through menopause and we need more estrogen. I'm confused. Well, I don't know. Who is the lady is what I would question there. And take soy out of your life, see how you feel, and then put soy back in and then make a determination for yourself. That way you don't have to listen to other people, is the best thing that I would say. I had people telling me that soy was great too, and I took it out of my life and I am happier and healthier. Kitty Cat, when I tried longer than 16 hours, my heart began racing. I got breathless. Is this because my pain disease can't handle more hours of fasting? Yeah, it could be. That's where you got to keep experimenting, I guess. Teresa, what sent me to the naturopath was a doctor's diagnosis of fatty liver. Well, the best way you can get rid of fatty liver is to put yourself into that environment where your body's going to burn through its own energy sources and just cleanse yourself out. Yeah, that's a tough one. But intermittent fasting is not going to be the thing that's going to hurt you, especially if you're feasting well. So that's, you got to get that combination. Again, we can't, just because we're fasting doesn't mean we can eat whatever we want. That will never, ever be the case. You can never just eat whatever you want, because there's going to be things that I want to eat that are going to make me sick. I would love nothing more than a cold day here in Texas to make some amazing like brownies, like old-fashioned brownies, the crispy edges and the soft in the middle. But man, that would make me so sick. So I can't eat whatever I want, even, you know what I mean? You have to be able to draw that line between common sense and you wanting to look and feel your best, and then make a determination kind of somewhere in between where you can still live authentically. Let's see what we got over here on Facebook. Maria, I went food shopping for supplies on my fast, read a lot of labels today while drinking my water, and went 23 hours. Awesome. Did you find a lot of non-soy stuff, Maria, hopefully? Or were you shocked at some of the things that you were looking at that did have soy in them? Stacy, I need a fire lit under me to get exercising. I've been a slug. Yeah, that's that thing about being authentic too. It's really hard if you live in a place where it's winter right now to pick up an exercise program, especially if you have to leave the house because it's cold outside. You can talk yourself out of it a million different ways. This is hard to get moving when it's cold. It's really hard for me in the wintertime too, and I'm an exercise believer through and through. So, you have to just kind of sit down and just have a really honest talk with yourself and figure out why it is you're exercising. Do you feel like exercising is something you have to do? Can you find some joy in it? Maybe it's the exercise you're choosing to participate in. I'm a runner by nature, but I never run in the winter months because I can't stand to be cold. So to force myself to run on a 25-degree day, it's not going to ever happen. So I'm okay with that. I just find other things to do. So find what it is about exercising that's making you a slug, and then you have to just reprogram your brain would be the best advice I could give you. What foods do you recommend? Breakfast is my favorite meal of the day. I recommend foods that are going to make you look and feel your best and help you live your most authentic life. That's the best I can give advice for food. I don't tell people what to eat because everybody's so different. So figure out the foods that make you happy, and then figure out if those same foods are going to help you look and feel your best. And then you kind of chisel it down from there. Okay, so I've taken 50 minutes of your time. I always appreciate your guys' comments and questions. They always ignite such a great conversation here. And we have to keep the dialogue open between us women so that we can kind of, you know, dig our way through some of these truths and then some of these things that are just ending up being a big marketing ploy trying to pull us in. Always stay true to yourself. When you're thinking about what you're going to do for your nutritional plan, always consider what it is that's going to make you happiest first. And then you have to figure out if that happiness is going to also lead you to living a life that is full of energy, health, and well-being. I know that there have been times in my life where I have been very healthy and very unhappy. And I know that there's also been times in my life where I've been very unhappy. And now is the first time that I could say that I'm healthy and very happy, because I'm living my own life around food, and I'm living my own life the way I've designed it with intermittent fasting and feasting. I'm not following anybody else's plan. And I really, really, really hope that you guys here in this community understand that you don't have to follow my plan either. That if you come in and join our course, I'm going to teach you how to create your own plan so that when these little news things come out, you don't frantically think that you have to follow it. You're going to be confident in what it is that you're doing because you are looking and feeling your best and living your most authentic life. And when it all comes down to it, that's how life is supposed to be. And we need to make sure that we are in a comfortable place to do that for ourselves. So thank you for jumping on with me on this Thursday. If you're interested in joining our course, registration is open. The registration link is available in a million different places. It's always in the comment section of these live broadcasts. I strongly encourage you to think about it. It is a great course, a great community of women. We spend 3 weeks together intimately working on a plan for you so that you no longer feel like you have to jump on the diet craze that are being marketed to us that really end up not working. So the course is designed for you, and I would love to see you in our February course. Have a super fantastic week. Make sure that you're staying away from sick people. The Parham family is hunkered down in our house. We're not going anywhere until we're all well.